Hello and welcome. Luke Malevich here, ChicagoJazzTrombone.com. Today I'd like to talk to you about some of the things that I do when I warm up and show you a couple of different warm-up exercises that I use. And I use these daily. And sometimes I'll do them as a warm down as well at the end of the day, at the end of the practice session. Now, before anything happens, I always want to make sure that I'm as relaxed as I possibly can be, that there's no tension in my shoulders, my neck, my jaw, everything here is where it needs to be. And there's a great video put out by Dion Tucker, who's a great trombone player in New York, and he talks about just that, talks about releasing tension and being relaxed, and you can check out that video. There's a lot of great information in there. And I'll also put something out talking about some of the things that I think about before I start to play. Now, the most important thing that I think about as a brass player, as a trombone player, is air. How my air is working, how it's going into the instrument, how it's coming out of the instrument, how it's going through the instrument to make sure that it's doing what it's supposed to, that my embouchure is working correctly. So when I do my warm up, I start without any articulation whatsoever, just using air to make sure that that's working correctly. Once it is, everything else is going to follow. If my air isn't working, then my articulation is going to suffer, my low range is going to suffer, my high range, everything is going to be much, much more difficult. So what I do is do a few exercises that don't require any articulation. Well, I might tongue the first note, but that's really about it. And there's some of my favorite players, including Luis Bonilla, that are amazing at using their air. And that's what I kind of picked up is, making sure that that's always working 100%. Now, the first thing that I do is I'll just play an F and gliss from F down to E. And I'll do the same thing from low B flat and then from tuning B flat. And that tells me basically how the rest of the warm up is going to go. If I'm tight, if I'm more relaxed, whatever I may have done the day before, how it's affected today, I'll find it out within 5 or 6 seconds. It'll tell me with that exercise. It'll tell me exactly what's going to happen after. If I get a little bit of fuzz at the beginning of the note, I know what that's going to do, and it's a lot of information that I get just from doing that. And the next exercise I do, and before I forget, all these exercises and everything I do at the beginning, I try to do with as little musicality as possible. So no vibrato, no crescendos, no decrescendos, because I want to be in control of all those things. I want to put them in when I would like to put them in and not have them creep in without me noticing. And sometimes it'll happen. I'll be holding a note that I meant to hold straight, and all of a sudden, just because I like a certain vibrato, I'll start doing it just without thinking about it. So I have to really focus to make sure that the air is going straight through, almost monotone, no emotion, nothing. It'll then help me later to put the things in that I need to. So the next exercise that I do, it's just an arpeggio exercise, starting from F above the staff, descending down 2 octaves and back up. Try to do it in one breath, and I descend down in half. So I start F, then E flat, and so on. And eventually, if I need to take a breath down, through the lower octaves, I'll do so. But for now I'll just go start on F, and then I'll go through down to pedal B flat. I'm going to do major arpeggios, and it depends on what I'm doing for the day. If I'm working on major scales, I'll do major arpeggios at the beginning of the day. If I'm working on minor, I'll do minor. For this exercise, I'll Lydian, diminished, whatever the tonalities I'm working on for the day, I'll use that as the basis for this exercise. But for today, I'm just going to do major arpeggios. So again, starting on F, I'm going to tongue the first note, and everything else is just going to be air. So here we go. And you can hear there are some inconsistencies in a few different places. Some of the sound wasn't exactly what I wanted it to be. And this is the beginning of my day, so I could then spend maybe 5 or 10 minutes. Sometimes it takes less, sometimes it takes a little bit longer, and just continue to do maybe even the same exercise and going down lower until I can semi comfortably go down to pedal E. And that's as far as I go. If I'm comfortably able to get down there, I know I'll be warmed up for the rest for whatever I need to do for the day. Everything's going to work out great. But again, sometimes it takes a little bit longer. I might do a few more things, but I'll wait until the air's comfortably where it needs to be before I start to add articulation to what I'm doing. So, hope you enjoyed it, and hope you'll be able to take something away into your own warm up routine. Thank you, and see you next time.